How you guys doing today? Today is the 24th of December, 2025. Time is 12:26 a.m. Um, Christmas Eve. I'm not a big Christmas person, but for those who celebrate Christmas, um, you know, I wish you the best, and I guess, hey, Merry Christmas to you, I guess. But I'm of the belief that we don't really know Jesus' birthday. Jesus never told us to celebrate his birth. He wants us to remember his death and resurrection. So that's how I choose to go about my day. Jesus Christ is King. He is God. He is the Savior of the world. So me saying I don't like Christmas or don't celebrate Christmas is nothing against what the Bible teaches or anything like that. It's just, something that, I just personally do. But I got nothing against people who celebrate it. I think God knows the heart. And but based on certain stuff that I've seen in the Bible, it's just I think it's better to focus on the death and resurrection of Jesus because that's what He wants us to focus on. Not to say the Bible doesn't talk about His birth because obviously it does, but and it was a big deal. It's just that we just don't have an exact date, so I really don't know what date it's really celebrated on. But obviously some people choose to have that date being super important to them, and some people don't. And this is obviously addressed in Romans 14. So I really don't have a problem with people doing it that way. It's just something that I'd rather, not do. But anyway, I'm just here talking about certain things today. I want to really try to be a little bit more consistent with these videos. I don't know. I'm probably never going to be a big time podcast or anything like that. But hey, every now and then I like to share my views and just talk to the people, interact with certain people who may be on the same time that I am. And if I can do that, great. If not, no big deal. I'll kill some time. Just do what I do at work. Um, the first thing I guess I can talk about is how excited I am about the University of Miami football team. Uh, their big win against Texas A&M when they went to Kyle Field and beat Texas A&M 10-3. It was a very good game, very good defensive game. A lot of elements were involved, so we had like a lot of low quality passes and missed field goals. But honestly, again, what that game to me is a testament of, other than the fact that Miami won, is that me personally, I still find defensive football entertaining. To me, it's about the competitive spirit. It's about guys just giving super effort and all that type of stuff, man. Somewhere along the line, it just became this like weird thing where people just say if it's not a high scoring game, it wasn't a good football game, or it wasn't a good basketball game, or it wasn't a good baseball game. I think that's such a bunch of BS, man. I really do. Like, I really think people are, it's like they're super lazy, man. The point of sports is to, in my opinion, is to have people compete and compete hard, and the better, the better the better the competition, as far as the teams are so quality that it's a competitive game, is great sport. And whether that turns into being a low scoring game, high scoring game, one thing that I can't stand personally is sports being manipulated, where you're changing rules to get higher scores, and you're changing rules so that it's easier for offense. And that stuff for me is what is ruining sports, in my opinion. Uh, So so like in basketball today or the other day, I'm a Bulls fan. I'm not trying to get off topic of the Canes, but I just want to give this quick example real quick. You know, it was a rare thing when you saw a team score 120 points. And the Bulls Hawks game the other day was 152 to 150. And you would like to think it's because teams are getting better, offense is getting better, but that's not the case, man. Because you're watching these games and basketball, they let them get away with all these travels and they're not calling certain fouls and setting illegal screens, and it's just the game is so different than what it was like 30 years ago, and it's still fun to watch for the most part. But if you're a stickler for the rules, or if you just know how like certain ways certain games supposed to be played, it's very frustrating, man, to watch some of these games. And that's pretty much in every sport. That's not even just like basketball or football. It's pretty much every sport. Things are just so different now. It's so corporate. It's there's not really a contrast in styles in a lot of ways these teams try to play. It was only that way in basketball. I felt football was different, but now in football I feel like it's starting to kind of get that way too. Where it's like the quality of quarterbacks are not really as great as they used to be. So it's like they're all trying to find like this athletic quarterback who can just manipulate his way into, instead of like having a certain identity. Certain teams have certain identities, and it's just like very rare to see like teams kind of differentiate from other teams. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. I really want to get into like the Miami game, um, like I said, 10-3 game. Texas A&M, great atmosphere. Um, you could tell they were loud. You could tell the crowd was into it. It was a great game, and like I said, it was a low scoring game, but the fans were into it. They got a good rating for a first round game. So I think everybody was satisfied, man. I mean, I would like to see the Hurricanes pass game do a little bit better, but they ran the ball well. The defense was lights out. Had 7 sacks on the day. The D line pretty much stopped the run cold. Um, you know, had 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions from a young Bryce Fitzgerald. I mean, Cristobal has done an absolutely amazing job. I know Miami fans were very disappointed in him from last year not making the playoffs, but even if we would have got him last year, I always thought, man, even with the bad defense that we had, I thought we had a chance to really make noise too. But this team is actually better. Even though the offense isn't as good, this defense is just doing a lot of things, man. I'm just hoping that the team stays relatively healthy so that we can really just compete against pretty much all these guys. I really truly believe in my heart that they're going to win this championship. I think nobody can compete with us in the trenches. You know, I was actually going to rewatch the Indiana Ohio State game because, Ohio State really had problems moving the ball against Indiana. And I think our D line is better, to be honest. So I think we can really give Julian Sain some real problems. He's not very athletic. He's a pocket quarterback. And for the most part, he's had, you know, a lot of time to really just throw the ball. But against our D line, I don't think he's going to have the type of time he's used to having. And, it's very rare when a quarterback can see the type of pressure that Miami can bring and have that type of poise to kind of either, anticipate that he has to throw it a little early and still make good throws, or just have the escapability to escape the pressure and still make plays. I really don't see him doing really either. I think Miami technically upsets Ohio State, and we're going to show them, man. And not only do I think Miami's doing their thing on the field, but, man, you look at the recruiting that they're saying that we're going to have in the next cycle. Already starting it off with Like we're the favorites of two top five kids, two top three kids, including the number one player in the country apparently. So I'm just like super excited, man. Like about the future of this program. I've been a Miami fan since '91, and obviously the first 10 years were pretty damn good. But man, them last 24 years have been, oof. I don't know, man. It's been rough. But I always knew what Miami was capable of doing. It just needed the right coach. I mean, you just thank God that Cristobal really loved this program because he was really had things going in Oregon, and he came here, and this roster is just like night and day from when he got here, man. It's just secondary is better, linebackers are better, D line is way better, offensive line, and honestly, the offensive line was what really wanted me to get him because I remember when he was at Oregon, and the game that I really wanted him to. Well, a game that really convinced me that we had to get him somehow was when Oregon played Ohio State on the road, and Oregon ran all over them, and I'm just like, man, this man knows how to build an O line. He knows how to build a running game, and those are some things that Miami wasn't really consistent at doing, especially the offensive line. And it's just like, man, if you can have a coach that you pretty much know that your offensive line is gonna be good, then and obviously people respect combination of Cristobal and Mariball, offensive line coach, because top offensive linemen want to come here, man. Like we just got the number one offensive lineman in the country, and looks like we might get the number one offensive lineman in 2027 class. So I was just like, wow, man. And we had Maui Noah when he first got here. He just said he's gonna go pro, but it's just year after year he's just bringing in these quality offensive linemen, and we're just doing our thing, man. It's just a beautiful thing. But it's gonna be interesting against Ohio State. I really do think we can beat them. I guess the odds are kind of scaring me because they really are giving them a big odd. But honestly, that stuff really doesn't matter. It's a projection. I mean, Miami has kind of disappointed in the past, so it's kind of hard for people to kind of believe that Miami has a chance to really do something special. But just look at the trenches, man. We stop the run. We get after the quarterback. We run the ball. Carson Beck is hit or miss. I mean, I don't understand honestly why he can't do a little bit better, but I'll give him a break against Texas A&M because the weather was really bad. But he's got to make some plays against Ohio State, and I think he will. You know, and like I said, it looks like Fletcher is really coming to his own. He's definitely gotten a lot better since last year. He ran for 174 yards last game, and um, I don't see why he can't continue to just do his thing. So I'm hoping that he will. We'll see what happens. And that's pretty much it. Um, so anything else I wanted to get into? Don't think so. But I know most people gonna pick Ohio State, but it's fine, man. Like proof is in the pudding, dude. Like we can get after any offensive line. Texas A&M was supposed to be one of the best offensive linemen in the country, and we had 7 sacks against them. So our corners are covering, and they had some really good receivers. So yeah, I'm good, man. Like I really believe that we're gonna be fine. So you know what? I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it as a Miami thing for now. I was a little disappointed how little national coverage I guess this game got. I don't think a lot of people was really talking about it, other than like the big Miami podcast and everything like that. But I feel like the national podcasts or the ESPN people gave it the bare minimum coverage and really wasn't really trying to like talk talk about them like that. So, but maybe that's just me being a Miami fan feeling that way. But I feel like we're not really getting the respect that we probably should be getting. But you keep winning, it'll come at some point. So anyway, thanks for listening. I appreciate y'all. Um, we will definitely be trying to have more of these, as I said. And if I can't, then we'll try to see what we can do about that. But yeah, um, appreciate y'all for listening, and thank y'all. And until next time.